Hello, hello. Welcome to anyone that's listening. If anyone is listening, thank you. The first story I have is from a website called Meow with a W, two W's. UFO Witness, this is a new TV show, where modern aircraft reverse engineered from suspected crashed alien spaceships at Roswell. So this is a topic that the show will be taking on. It'll go through discussions about Roswell, obviously Area 51. It will also talk about how, people have believed that fiber optics, night vision came from alien tech. There'll also be a discussion about how there's a lot of companies right now that use reverse tech, so it's not uncommon. The idea isn't uncommon, of course. They go into Bob Lazar. So, depending on your own opinions, I know people vary wildly on their opinions on the whole Bob Lazar story. But we'll also go into stating here that when it comes to some technologies, that alien spacecraft is still a taboo subject in the tech industry, which, I guess you never know. There could be a con man, which, not unusual. Speaking to Vice, Deep Prasad, CEO of Canadian quantum computing startup Relative Q, said his life goal is to find a UFO and reverse engineer it for the betterment of the human race. In front of our eyes are technologies underlining these UFOs that are far beyond our understanding. Prasad said, but if we pay close attention and reverse these technologies to bring to the masses, we will see a world with interstellar travel at our fingertips. And cures and people living to 1,000. Meanwhile, Rizwan Virk, executive director of Play Labs, MIT, told the outlet that UFOs could feature technologies way advanced than that understood by modern science. This phenomenon seems to be about advanced technology that doesn't always fit into our current model of what is technology and what isn't. And the show is apparently on its third episode, and you can see it Thursday, the 14th, on Discovery Plus. I don't have Discovery Plus, so I'm pretty cheap. But if you enjoyed it, thank you. So this next article comes from Sputnik International. It's actually a little video. The article is by Andrei Dergalin. So here you have strange object was described as silent and stationary, disappearing and then reappearing while glowing yellow, red, and white. So I will show you the video, and the video comes from these guys, UFO Sightings Daily. There you go. I will first, I was going to biggie size it first. Here we go. Okay. So it comes into focus a little bit, but it is odd. It's kind of, it doesn't really move. You just have this kind of multi-color look to it. It does get a little more focused here in a bit. This is a fairly long video, but at least it's not like 5 seconds and you don't see anything. So yeah, it almost looks like the back engines of like a sci-fi ship. I mean, I don't know. Of course, in this situation, there you go. See, even further out, it almost looks a little better. But what is it? It's like Galaga for all I know. So That is, yeah. Basically, you're just holding on to that. Yeah. So I won't go through the whole thing. You can definitely check it out at their site. I'll just give you a fair bit. Like I said, it doesn't really change too much, but if you want to check out the original, I'll have the actual location in the description. So that's my first. I have another UFO video coming up next. Hold on. Thank you. So here's my third video. It is another actual video. It's from Uti. This is a German website. So we have here, during the night, a Vietnamese discovered a unknown flying object that seems to float in the sky as if frozen and reminds the reader of a UFO. So, as always, I will show you. First, I'll biggie size it. It's more interesting in the first like 5-10 seconds because then they kind of pan out. So, see. I'm not entirely sure why he pans out. He's so far away. I would imagine you would want to stay closer. But here, I'll give you it again. That's about the best as you're going to get in those first like 5 seconds there. So take that for what it is. But I'm not entirely sure why you would keep it out. I would try to focus a little bit on it more, but that's just me. Well, that is the third video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Here's my last story. The classified report from the CIA bombshell UFO dossier reveals the meeting where top military officials launched a 16-year Project Blue Book study of flying saucers in 1952. The actual download from the Black Vault is actually very large. You're looking at about 713 documents, and those documents range in pages. It's about 2,700 pages, about 2,782 pages, roughly around there. So this article basically discusses, they have the minutes from the discussion on them getting the Project Blue Book started. So if you don't know, of course, Black Vault, the founder, John Greenwald, he spent 2 decades suing the CIA to get all these files released. So if you want to read a whole bunch of pretty interesting articles, I would recommend going there. It's all free. You don't have to pay for anything. I mean, he does have a Patreon set up, so just in case you decide to donate to him for the work that he's doing, you can do that. But there is no fee to actually download all the files itself. So we have this. The U.S. military branch chiefs meet to discuss the CIA's Flying Saucer project in 1952. On August 11th, 1952, a group of military leaders got together to discuss the CIA plans to launch a research project on flying saucers. The minutes from the meeting were included in a report by the Black Vault dossier reporting how the CIA wanted to run the project through its Physics and Electronics division after a sudden uptick of UFO sightings around the world. The document was atoned by an unidentified individual who put brackets around different figures at the meeting. And here is the actual, the minutes from the actual meeting. The meeting was at 08:35 in Mr. Steele's office with I don't know what word that is, consisting of Mr. Sullivan, another individual, Mr. Abram, Mr. Bernard, Mr. Engel, Mr. Fairchild, Dr. Fondler, Dr. Harkin, and Dr. Rajala. Mr. Sullivan opened the meeting by saying that the project is to be started in the P&E division on flying saucers. He suggested by Dr. Ordoronco that this project is to set up on such matters to permit the division and office to take a stand and to formulate an opinion as might be required. The ATIC has the job of finding out about flying saucers and keeping records. The CIA is responsible for getting... someone is responsible for getting information for the CIA. Sorry, I don't read that part. Can't read that part. All members of the P&E division are to look into this project and see what they can contribute to this problem. Each branch appointed a representative, Dr. Elby for physics and Dr. Bernard for electronics and communications. Dr. Hay Gordon is project officer for the P&E division, is to find out who is handling this project and get a past history of what has been found out in the field of meteorology, radar, and the other sciences. He would secure reports from the ATIC and bring up to date on what has been found. And if you don't know what the ATIC is, it is the Air Technical Intelligence Center at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Now, let's see, what have we done? Mr. Steele wanted to know if P&E should be in a position to answer requests to us, since the ATIC has a standard form for reference purposes. Requests would be answered through contact with them. Air Force has local agents to look into any questions coming to them. ATIC has record it was believed to cover the whole world. It was stated that Dr. S. Possany, who may be a special officer in A2, may be able to contribute something to this problem. Dr. Sullivan gave a summary of the 5 years that Mr. Strong spent. There was no specific problem to be discussed. The meeting was adjourned. And now you have this little bit at the bottom which says, where so many flying saucers have been reported of late, although Mr. Strong knew many people there and tracked the area extensively, no unusual phenomena were ever mentioned or seen. So that's essentially just that's the report where they started discussion about Blue Book. Here you have a little photo of J. Allen Hynek. So that's that. They actually do go into other reports. You have this one with the Russian airline crew, but a lot of these are pretty long. Some of these go about several pages. So if you would want any of this broken down further, say something. I mean, I would have no issue going through and actually reading a lot of these and making some videos on anyone's, to be absolutely honest. But otherwise, if you're still listening and you enjoyed this, well, thank you for listening. Good night.